2021, I got my first camera for which I was waiting for 2.5 years. I don't know, I just have a thing for filmmaking and storytelling. Since the day I got my first camera, I've been trying and experimenting different kinds of projects, whether it be commercials, short films, YouTube videos, and photography. And I just am finding every possible way to practice and skill up my craft.
Praise the Lord. 'Cause I fucking did it, yeah, I fucking said it, understand me.
Last year, when I got my first camera, I decided to dedicate 2021 in learning how this thing works. And I had no profit motive whatsoever. I just wanted experience. And by the end of the year, I got an opportunity to shoot a travel film for an institute. So basically, the institute was taking their students on a picnic, and somehow they contacted me, and I said, yes. So before we go any further, I'd like to show you the video. Enjoy. I think a lot of things. During this pandemic, because everything was locked up, there is no doubt that we missed our golden days of high school. Everything changed in just a day. We barely could see each other. And honestly speaking, online schooling was way out of my understanding. It was boring and lifeless. We could no longer meet our friends. Life kind of felt like it paused for a moment. It felt like we were stuck. We feared that, will everything be normal again? Every day felt the same, but it taught us a lot of things. We then reminisced how whenever we used to meet people and talk to them, it just became much more easier to get through a bad phase. We then came to a realization that a lot can change when we are laughing, dancing, and enjoying together. So here's what I learned from this pandemic. We don't value something until it's gone. It's the hard truth. All we needed was a space where we could express ourselves to the fullest and care about nothing and feel secured. Life can a lot be interesting when you're surrounded with people who cares for you, who adds value to your life, who always wants to see you grow. It can be hard sometimes, but being surrounded with good people is what matters. The feeling of being in the moment with people was what we were missing the whole time. So, let me take you to the best day of this year.
हम तोड़ गए जब तुम झुकी, तब से तुम नजर में आ रुकी। हम तो हो गए समा धीरे धीरे थालमा, अब तो होना है वही जो बनाए जाना। हम तो हो गए समा धीरे धीरे थालमा, अब तो होना है वही जो बनाए जाना। हम तो उड़ गए उड़ गए उड़ गए।
I was very excited for this project and quite worried too. Making this project was a different kind of experience for me because इससे पहले मैंने ऐसा कुछ try नहीं किया है और especially I have never worked with this amount of people at the same time. So the purpose of making this video is to share some of my mistakes and some of the things that I learned while making this project. So talking about the mistakes first, mistake number 1 was, even though I was fully in the moment and I was keeping an eye on every movement possible, there were things that I still missed out. So here's a little storyline. So basically एक student था जिसको आसपास में एक cycle मिली थी and he wanted to try it out because kids
they want to try every new things. So so basically this was the hill part, and this was a little bit plain area, so here where we were gathered, and then इसके बाद यहाँ पर this was the dead end, and इसके बाद जो था वो था lake, and so he wanted to show everyone, or maybe he wanted to just have fun a little bit. So what happened that जब उसने यहाँ से साइकिल चलाना स्टार्ट किया तो उसे ज़्यादा देरी नहीं लगा ये पता करने में कि उस साइकिल में ब्रेक्स नहीं है. तो as soon as he realized कि उस साइकिल में ब्रेक्स नहीं है,
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
तो उस साइकिल में वो और उसका एक दोस्त बैठा हुआ था. तो जो दोस्त था वो पीछे बैठा हुआ था. तो as soon as he realized, he just jumped off that cycle, and then the guy who was in the cycle जो चला रहा था उसको, he was like very shocked. He didn't know what to do. He was like scared. His reaction was like, he was coming down. We all gathered here. यहाँ tables थे, teachers थे, math थे, and somehow he managed to just land there to crash. But luckily, everyone was safe. No one was hurt. During that time, I was basically filming the people. So I was just reviewing if I had gotten it right or not. So उसी time पे मेरे को पीछे से hooting सुनाई दी. लोग चिल्ला रहे थे, लोग hoot कर रहे थे. They were like very excited. And as soon as I turned around, the incident just took place. And I missed that out. So that was one thing that I regret, because that was the funniest moment of all time that day. Or his expression was worth a watch, and that was like really fun situation. Everyone was laughing for like at least 10 to 15 minutes straight. So मेरे को अब लगता है कि I should have been more active during that time. So anyways, so that was the first mistake that I made. Coming to the second mistake. So during the dance sequence, I was moving with my camera to add a little bit of movement to the shot, because it just makes it more like interesting to watch. थोड़े बहुत movement अच्छे लगते हैं shots में, but I was little way too much than I should. That led to some shaky footages. But hopefully I didn't use enough of those, so yeah, I was on the safe side. But still, I ended up having like a lot of shaky footages after that. So yeah, that was one more mistake that I made. So what happens that when you add in-camera movement to a shot, then it makes it more realistic to watch than doing it in post-production. I know it is possible in both the ways, but you know, I try to apply it in camera because I like that like more than doing it in post-production. So yeah, that led to some consequences, and I learned from that. Now we just talked about the mistakes that I made. Now talking about some of the things that I learned. Learning number 1. So इस शूट के लिए मेरे को शूट के जस्ट 2 दिन पहले उन लोगों का कॉल आया था, और जो बीच का जो एक दिन था वो क्रिसमस था. सो से आई लाइक hung up the call. वैसे ही I just went and just looked around for the things that I have for the gears, and I started packing, and I started looking for the things that I have, and like, you know, arranging all the stuff so that मेरे को last moment में rush ना करना पड़े. So while packing, I just realized that मेरे पास सिर्फ एक बैटरी है, and वो जो शूट था वो पूरे एक दिन का था. तो having one battery for a shoot that is like throughout the day just made no sense. So I started calling a lot of camera shops and started asking them if they had any like extra batteries in their shop for sale, and unfortunately none of them had it. So they just told me that Canon has stopped making this kind of batteries, and थोड़ा time लगेगा अभी stocks आने में, because अभी इसका manufacturing closed है, and they just told me stuff like that. And I was already stressing out because just 2 दिन में shoot है और कल Christmas है, and Christmas में I know दुकानें नहीं खुली होती, और मैं ऑनलाइन ऑर्डर नहीं कर सकती थी बिकॉज ऑनलाइन ऑर्डर करने में 1 वीक लग जाता बैटरीज को आने में, एंड मेरे पास 1 वीक था नहीं, तो मेरे को जो भी करना था उस दिन पे ही करना था. सो आफ्टर a lot of searching for the camera shops, we finally found a shop जिसके पास थे एक्स्ट्रा बैटरीज थे, and we finally got in, and I was relieved. और अगर मैं उस दिन नहीं जाती बैटरीज लेने तो आई डोंट थिंक सो कि मैं ये प्रोजेक्ट को कंप्लीट कर पाती. तो या आई वांट टू थैंक माई सेल्फ फॉर दैट. लर्निंग नंबर 2. So for the shoot, I also took my mic with me so that I was able to record all the sounds in like a better quality. और ये मेरे लिए बहुत ही ज़्यादा हेल्पफुल रहा था बिकॉज जो भी मैंने साउंड्स रिकॉर्ड किए थे उसमें से आई थिंक 90% ऑफ द साउंड इफेक्ट्स यू हियर इन दैट वीडियो is taken by me. So yeah, that was a great help. और मेरे को बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं स्पेंड करना पड़ता इंटरनेट में साउंड इफेक्ट्स ढूंढने के लिए. तो या दैट केम इन हैंडी. all the sounds that you hear of people laughing, talking, and you know, maybe cheering was by myself. So yeah. Number 3. So this is the last point in the list, and this is the most important thing that I did, was planning the shots beforehand. I know it is impossible to predict the unpredictable, but you know, having some rough shots in your head, in your mind, just makes it more easier to actually film everything. तो मेरे को थोड़ा बहुत idea था उस area के बारे में कि you know, you have a lake and there's like very nice sunset there, और वहाँ पर natures कैसा है, roads कैसे हैं. I kind of had like a rough idea of that. So मैंने वो सारे ideas को पहले ही shortlist कर लिया था. I carried a paper with me. Unfortunately, I was not able to shoot the sunset वाला shot because उस दिन weather was very cloudy, so the sun was not very visible. So बस वो एक shot था जो रह गया. बाकी I just filmed everything that I planned for. Also, throughout this whole process, throughout this whole journey of making a travel video, making a travel film, I also learned a lot about composition, framing, how to like, you know, hold your camera while filming certain shots. अगर वो dance sequence है तब मेरे को कैसे रहना है, अगर वो still shots है तब मेरे को कैसे रहना है. तो I had a pretty good experience while making this entire film. I know there are a lot of mistakes. The videos still seem like amateurish, but for me it was a very big deal because actually stepping out, you know, having this idea in my mind like, okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, and then actually stepping out of my house and doing the real stuff was a very different kind of experience. Now I realized कि बैठे बैठे सब कुछ plan करना is way different than actually doing it in real life. So yes, I had a lot of fun. And yes, there were times when I was frustrated while editing, but here we are. Thanks for watching.
Believe me when I say I tried. You ever lost something so much it hurts? You ever lost something so much it hurts? Second guessing all for nothing. You ever lost something so much it hurts? You ever lost something so much it hurts?
I think you should experience it. You always say I want to experience things, but I don't think you actually want to experience things because you would experience it if you wanted to experience things. I don't know what you're talking about.
Just want a new sensation. Excuse me when your tattoos fade.